Hello and welcome to the news on NTA International. I am Dennis Adigunloye. Thank you for joining us. Let's begin with the headlines. Vietnam, China hold talks on calming sea tensions. Polls open in Lithuania for first round of parliamentary elections. And federal government to partner African Development Bank on raw material production. We begin with the electoral matters. Polls have opened in Lithuania for the first round of parliamentary elections, likely to see the centre-left replace the ruling Conservatives. Let's get some details of this from Kulu Mohammed.
Lithuanians voted Sunday in elections likely to change the government but keep much else the same as NATO and EU members' strong support for Ukraine and move to bolster defense policy. Reports say the vote is likely to see the center-left replace the ruling Conservatives and could see a new populist party whose leader is on trial for alleged anti-Semitic comments secure a seat in parliament for the first time. The Baltic state of 2.8 million people has been entertaining fears that neighboring Russia could make it its next target if Moscow were to succeed in its war against Ukraine. Lithuanians' main parties all agree on the need for strong support for Ukraine and to maintain or increase defense spending, currently around 3% of its gross domestic product. Opinion polls show the Social Democratic Party, which last led government from 2012 to 2016, ahead of 14 other parties and coalitions, with the latest survey predicting they will secure about 20% of the vote. The ruling center-right Homeland Union Lithuanian Christian Democrats are expected to receive around 15%. 6 or 7 parties are likely to cross the electoral threshold to get a seat in parliament. Kulu Mohammed, NTA News.
Kamala Harris has released her medical records, which concluded that she is in excellent health and fit for the presidency. Following disclosure, the Democratic Party's candidate, vying to be the next U.S. president, accused Donald Trump of a lack of transparency over not releasing his health records. The vice president claimed her Republican rival does not want the American people to see whether he is fit to become president or not. Without revealing Trump's medical records, the former president's team responded by quoting his doctor as saying that he was in perfect and excellent health. Vietnam and China have agreed to calm tensions in their South China Sea dispute, Vietnamese state media reported on Sunday, days after Hanoi accused Beijing of a brutal attack on its fishermen. Comfort Fashion reports.
China is Vietnam's biggest trade partner, but the two countries share historic tensions, including the South China Sea, a waterway through which trillions of dollars of trade pass each year. Beijing has for years now sought to expand its presence in contested areas of the sea, brushing aside an international ruling that its claim to most of the waterway has no legal basis. Last week, Hanoi protested a brutal attack by Chinese vessels in which it said 10 Vietnamese fishermen were beaten with iron bars and robbed of thousands of dollars worth of fish and equipment. Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh and visiting Chinese Premier Li Qiang exchanged sincere and frank opinions on maritime issues at a meeting in Hanoi. This as Vietnamese state media said. The two countries also signed 10 agreements on Sunday, including on expanding cross-border railway links, payments, and economic cooperation. They agreed to work on a technical plan for a rail link between Lao Cai in northern Vietnam and Hue in China's Yunnan province. They also signed a memorandum of understanding on the implementation of cross-border payment services via QR codes and an agreement to study a model for an economic cooperation zone across their border. Vietnam's top leaders, Lam and Lee, agreed on Saturday to boost defense and economic cooperation, Vietnamese state media reported. Hanoi will facilitate more high-tech Chinese investments in Vietnam, and Beijing will strengthen market access for Vietnamese agricultural products, the Nam Dan newspaper said. At Saturday's meeting, the newspaper also said that Lam urged both parties to better manage and resolve differences in maritime issues. Lam took office in early August as General Secretary following the death of his predecessor, Nguyen Phu Trong. He later met Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing during his first overseas trip. Comforts, Fashim, NTA News.
We go to Egypt now, where a second train crash in recent weeks has occurred early on Sunday, leaving many injured. A locomotive collided with the rear of a sleeper train en route from Aswan to Cairo, causing two train carriages to fall into the Ibrahimiyya Canal, where boat accidents are said to be on the rise in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Kolo Mohammed has details.
In Upper Egypt, two rail carriages were partially submerged in the watercourse. The railway authority said in a statement that the crash occurred in the province of Minya, south of Cairo. It added that the cause of the crash is being investigated. The health ministry said the critically injured are being treated in the hospital, while carriages that were not affected on the train have resumed the journey towards the Egyptian capital. Similarly, boat accidents in the Democratic Republic of the Congo have increased. The number of boats capsizing is rising as overloading is the norm since roads have been made further unsafe by bandits and militia attacks. A day earlier, a boat that had 278 people aboard went down, leading to 78 deaths and numerous missing persons. In the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo, nighttime traffic on Lake Kivu has been halted. This decision was made by the Minister of Transport to ensure maritime safety across the nation. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Stories from this part of the world now, and the federal government is ready to partner with the African Development Bank, UNESCO, and other development partners to achieve the country's raw materials value addition from the current 25% to 60% before 2034. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Naji, disclosed this as the program presentation and dialogue session with development partners in Abuja. Justin Bemuni reports.
The Raw Materials Research and Development Council, with the support of the African Development Bank, is developing a comprehensive 10-year roadmap to achieve a transformational leap in Nigeria's raw material value addition from the current 25% to a target of at least 60%. The ambitious goal, the Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology says, represents a bold vision for Nigeria's future, where the country's raw materials are no longer exported in their crude form, but processed and enriched to maximize their value before leaving the country.
The importance of improving the value of our raw materials before export cannot be overstated. By doing so, we stand to create more jobs, stimulate the growth of domestic manufacturing, and ultimately strengthen the value of the naira. The greater utilization of local raw materials will reduce our dependence on imports and position Nigeria as a critical player in the global raw materials value chain.
The program presentation and dialogue session was dedicated to fostering more robust partnerships between the Council and esteemed development partners, the diplomatic community, business councils, and commercial banks. It was also meant to explore innovative pathways and sustainable strategies that will unlock the immense potential of Nigeria's raw materials sector.
The African Development Bank has a 10-year strategy, 2024 to 2033. We also work on a high-five agenda, and these provide us the strategic framework which we use to support African countries with interventions that lead to economic growth and improvement in the quality of life of our people in Africa.
Globally, the demand for raw materials is shifting, and the opportunities for countries like Nigeria are immense. The recent focus on renewable energy technologies and battery storage has intensified the need for minerals like cobalt and lithium, both essential for electric vehicles and energy storage.
The minister urged development partners, members of the diplomatic community, business councils and financial institutions to consider it not only desirable but also expedient to collaborate with the Council in these transformative efforts. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The federal government has received a report on the 2024 rainy season indicating a significant increase in farmers' output despite the environmental challenges associated with the season. The National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Service compiled the report and presented it to the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Aliu Sabi Abdullahi. Musa Baba Aliu has details.
Rainfall situation this year.
The survey initially analyzed the 2024 rain pattern, revealing a decrease in rainfall compared to the 2023 season. This decline in rainfall resulted in a dry spell that adversely affected crop in 33 states. Additionally, floods were another contributing factor that impacted farmers' output during the season. A total of 31 states spanning 180 local government areas experienced flooding, with the northeast region severely affected. Despite these challenges, there has been notable increase in farmers' output this year. For example, rice farmers in 10 states were able to produce 9.129 million tons of paddy this year, with Niger State leading in production with over 700,000 tons. Similarly, 11.216 million tons of maize were cultivated in 10 states, with Kaduna maintaining its position as the top producer. Sorghum, cowpea and soybeans production also saw increase of 2.56%, 0.24% and 4.31% during the season. The survey further highlights that 46 million tons of cassava were produced during this year, with Benue taking the lead in production, followed by Kogi State. Niger leads in yam production, followed by Nasarawa, Enugu, and Edo states.
This report showed that 62% of Nigerians are now planting improved seed. And that's a very good increase. Last year we did the survey, it was between 15 to 25% Nigerian using improved seed.
Before the next rainy season, we should be able to deliver on that particular platform. The platform is going to bring in all this content from the various subject matter specialists and experts on how farmers are supposed to produce, when they are supposed to produce, and how they are supposed to tackle issues that they will see in terms of disease condition or maybe poor crop performance and whatnot, and actions they are supposed to take. I guess that is the kind of knowledge that farmers will need out there to do their own production.
There was general increase in cost of production of major crops during the season under review. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
You are watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us.
Tell me you have good news. I'm trying my best, Jaja. No, my wife. You're not a slave.
I am trying to help you, and you make a mockery of me.
Hey, calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. She always does this.
You're mad. Answer me.
For you to die.
Welcome back. Chairman House Committee on Internally Displaced Persons, Refugees and Migrants, Abdullahi Balarabi, has expressed satisfaction with the performance of the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. This was during an oversight visit to the Commission, where the Federal Commissioner, Tijani Aliu Ahmed, presented its one-year performance report. Ruth Agwele reports.
Records show that more than 6 million people are facing displacement across the country due to factors beyond their control. Concerned with the task of addressing the needs of internally displaced persons and refugees in the country, the House Committee on IDPs, Refugees and Migrants have come on an oversight visit to the National Commission to assess its performance in the past 1 year, identify grey areas and strengthen collaboration to enhance activities of the Commission.
This commission started as Refugee Commission, that's all. Then later they added migration, then IDP.
Presenting the performance report, the Federal Commissioner expressed concerns over inadequate funding that has stalled major plans of improving livelihoods for persons of concern.
I informed the committee that we cannot continue to do that into supplying food to IDPs. We have to also look out of the box. And that's why we have introduced the Rehappy project, where refugees and migrants were given some agri inputs for them to cultivate the land, get what they can eat.
We are satisfied with what the Commissioner presented, and we have made some suggestions which they need to improve. They are supposed to submit a report to us as to what they received and how they spent what they received, so that the committee will look at the areas that they need to be get more funding.
Both parties agreed to enhance efforts that will facilitate plans in providing sustainable and durable solutions for IDPs and refugees across the country. In Abuja, Ruth Agwele, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, has performed the groundbreaking ceremony of an inland dry port at Kajola in Iwekuru local government area of Ogun State, with a promise of making it a model for other inland dry ports across Nigeria. The minister assures that when fully operational, the project will be a game changer not only to Ogun State, but Nigeria as a whole. Hakim Jimo reports.
While acknowledging that the Gateway Inland Dry Port aligns with the vision of the federal government as a game changer for Nigeria's economy, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, believes that the dry port will help to enhance employment generation and wealth creation.
It's a critical component of our broader strategy to position Nigeria as a leading player in the blue economy. As we continue to diversify our economy, it is essential to create infrastructure that serves as key nodes in our supply chain and stimulating local businesses.
Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun is optimistic that the dry port, when completed, will help to boost the ease of doing business in the state, assuring that the project will assist in decongesting the ever-busy Apapa-Tinkan Island seaports.
This facility is a key enabler of industrial activity and manufacturing in Ogun State. It will, on completion, increase the ranking of our state on the Ease of Doing Business Index to help us in defining our priorities and how our transport sector will connect.
Stakeholders promised to collaborate with Ogun State government to realize the dream to attract more foreign investments into the country. The Gateway Inland Dry Port is a multimodal transport master plan strategy designed to address the need to provide effective transport and logistics services in Ogun State. From Kajola in Ewekoro local government area of Ogun State, Hakim Jimo, NTA News.
Nigerians have been tasked with cultivating a positive attitude to nation building. An organization known as the Change We Need Initiative stated this when it held a one-day prayer for Nigeria in Abuja. Convener of the Prayer for Nigeria project, Dr. Cosmos Ilechukwu says though things might be difficult for citizens, now they are optimistic that with time Nigeria will be great again, hence the need for citizens not to lose hope.
So we're going to continue to speak to God until God helps us in this country to get things right. Who will work for it? Who will rebuild it? I encourage them, let's be patient. It is difficult today, but I can see tomorrow.
We have no other choice than to still love Nigeria despite the bad situation.
He said the government should endeavor to assemble the best brains the country is blessed with to find a way out of the economic challenge.
Until I see Nigeria emerge great, I won't stop. We must continue to pray and continue to insist in doing the right things, saying the right words, behaving the right way.
The Prayer for Nigeria holds once every year. Now, to commemorate World Habitat Day with the theme of engaging the youths to create an urban future, the leadership of the Nigeria Institute of Town Planners, FCT branch, has organized a roadwalk to enlighten citizens on the significance of the day. This year's celebration is aimed at exploring ways to actively involve new generations in shaping their urban environments through participatory processes and leadership opportunities at the local level. Chairperson of the body, Lami Ayuba, and other stakeholders called on residents to join in the campaign for a healthy environment, noting that more work needs to be done in waste management and disposal due to the influx of people from rural to urban areas, while commending the Ministry of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, for what he has achieved in just over a year.
Develop the urban centers to absorb that population and also create programs and then awareness campaigns to sensitize the people on how to live within the urban center and respect urban planning principles and standards.
We cannot have a sustainable development without having a sustainable environment. We are doing our own part in terms of awareness, creating awareness for the public. But the government too has a very major role to play. Implementing our policies and our projects and making the resources available for the cities to thrive.
And here are the views of some members of the body that participated in the sensitization walk.
To create sustainable settlements where human beings can live happily, peacefully, and also to prosper accordingly.
So we must prepare for it, we must design for it. As professionals, we must partner with government to prepare a suitable place for them where they can live and thrive.
The sensitization walk, which is part of the several programs organized by the Institute to educate the FCT populace, has further cemented the key roles of town planners in the upliftment of the cities and raised critical issues on the need to continuously engage women and youths in city planning and management. Libya's FA President Abdul Hakim al-Shalmani resigns 2 days before Super Eagles' second leg clash. And Novak Djokovic denied 100th career title as world number one Yannick Sinner wins Shanghai Masters. For details and more, let's join Suleiman Musa on Sports Update.
Let's begin with football. Following their 1-0 victory over the Mediterranean Knights of Libya on Friday in Uyo, Super Eagles captain William Truss-Ekong says it will not be easy to defeat Libya at home in the second leg of the AFCON 2025 qualifier on Tuesday, but added that the team is ready to secure the needed maximum points away. The Super Eagles secure a narrow victory courtesy of a lone strike from Fisayo Dele-Bashiru. Currently, Nigerian top Group D with 7 points, while Benin Republic is on second with 6 points, followed by Libya with 2 points, and Rwanda stays down with 1 point. To boxing, Arthur Beterbiev beat Dimitri Bivol by majority decision to become the undisputed light heavyweight world champion as one of boxing's most anticipated fights live up to the hype in Saudi Arabia. In the contest that could have gone either way, Bivol won the earlier round with his superior movement and combinations. Fellow undisputed Russian Betaviv was undeterred and forced his way back into the fight with relentless pressure and power punching. With scores of 114 to 114, 115 to 113, and 116 to 112, Betaviv became the division's first undisputed champion since 2002 and the first ever in the four-belt era. To female boxing, Australia's Sky Nicholson defended her WBC featherweight world title with a stylish point win over Britain Rivan Chapman in Saudi Arabia. The 29-year-old was in full flow, picking Chapman apart with some terrific counter-punching coupled with flute movement at Riyadh Kingdom Arena. Nicholson was awarded a unanimous decision with scores of 99 to 91, 98 to 92, and 98 to 92 points. And finally, Novak Djokovic missed the opportunity to claim the 100th title of his stellar career as Yannick Sinner won a high-quality Shanghai Masters final. World number one, Sinner continued his dominant form this season with a 7-6, 6-3 victory over the 37-year-old Serb. Djokovic was aiming to become only the third man after Jimmy Connors and the watching Roger Federer to chalk up a ton of titles. With Sport Update, Suleiman Musa, NTA News.
And before we go, here is a quick look at Monday's weather forecast in Nigeria and other parts of the world. Well, this is where we end the news at this time on NTA International. Thank you for watching. I am Dennis Adigunluyi.